A pregnant woman, lost and alone in the depths of a mysterious forest. No food, no shelter, and no one to hear her cries for help. Just when she thinks all hope is lost, a massive black bear appears. But instead of attacking, it watches over her. Was this beast a guardian or a danger waiting to strike? As the days pass and the baby's arrival draws near, the woman must place her trust in the unknown. And when the moment of truth arrives, the forest itself seems to listen. Stay till the end to uncover the incredible fate of the woman who found help in the most unexpected place. And if you love mysterious folk tales and unforgettable legends, subscribe to Tales Story House for more. Hit that subscribe button now and join us on this magical journey. Long ago, in a small African village nestled between rolling green hills and dense forests, there lived a young woman named Ebony. She was kind, hardworking, and deeply respected in the village. Ebony was also pregnant with her first child, and her heart swelled with excitement and fear as she awaited the birth of her baby. Her husband, Kofi, was a skilled hunter who provided food for the village. But one season, the rains did not come as expected. The rivers shrank, the soil cracked, and food became scarce. The elders feared that hunger would grip the land if they did not find new sources of food and water. One morning, the village decided to send a group of hunters deep into the forest to search for wild game and hidden water sources. Though Ebony was heavily pregnant, she insisted on joining the journey. She was not just a wife waiting for her husband's return. She was a woman of strength, capable of enduring hardship. The elders tried to stop her, but Ebony was determined. She packed dried food, water, and herbs for the journey. Before she left, an old woman tied a protective charm around her wrist, whispering that it would shield her from unseen spirits of the wild. With a group of hunters, Ebony ventured into the thick forest, where towering trees blocked the sun and vines twisted around ancient trunks. The deeper they went, the more the air changed. It was cooler, heavier, filled with the scent of damp earth and unseen creatures. For hours they walked, marking trees so they could find their way back. Birds called in the distance, and strange rustlings in the bushes reminded them that they were not alone. Then, without warning, the ground beneath Ebony gave way. The hunters called out in alarm as Ebony tumbled down a steep slope covered in thick undergrowth. She tried to grab onto the vines, but her hand slipped. The weight of her unborn child made it impossible to regain balance. She landed with a thud on soft earth. Pain shot through her body, but her baby was safe. She called out, but her voice was swallowed by the dense forest. Above her, the hunters searched frantically, but the trees were too thick for them to see where she had fallen. She tried to stand, but her legs were weak. The air was thick, humid, and full of unfamiliar scents. Ebony knew she had to move. Staying in one place meant danger. She placed a hand on her belly and whispered a silent prayer to the ancestors. The sun began to set, and the golden light of evening barely touched the ground through the thick canopy. Shadows stretched long and dark, and the sounds of the forest changed. The daytime birds fell silent, replaced by the eerie calls of nocturnal creatures. Ebony's heart pounded. She had heard stories of spirits that lurked in the woods, of beasts with glowing eyes that could snatch a soul away. She was afraid, but she could not let fear control her. She needed shelter. She walked, each step careful, every sound around her making her nerves tighten. Suddenly, she saw a large, dark opening in the roots of an ancient tree, a small cave. It was not much, but it was protection from the night. She crawled inside and curled up, exhaustion pulling her into restless sleep. Ebony woke to the sound of heavy breathing. Her eyes snapped open, and in the dim morning light, she saw something massive at the cave's entrance. A great black bear, its thick fur glossy and dark as the night, stood there, its golden eyes locked onto hers, unblinking. Ebony froze. She had never seen a bear before. In her village, people spoke of lions, leopards, and elephants, but not bears. Yet here it was, watching her, its presence neither threatening nor welcoming. Her heart pounded, but something deep inside told her not to be afraid. The bear did not move aggressively. Instead, it tilted its head slightly, as if studying her. Then, slowly, it turned and walked away, disappearing into the forest. Ebony let out a shaky breath. She did not know why, but she felt as if the bear had spared her, as if it had understood that she was vulnerable. She crawled out of the cave and looked around. She needed food and water. She followed the faint sound of running water and soon found a small stream, its clear water reflecting the morning sun. She drank deeply, the cool liquid refreshing her body. Then she noticed something strange. The black bear was there on the other side of the stream, watching her. It made no move to come closer, nor did it seem bothered by her presence. For the next few days, the bear remained nearby. It never approached her too closely, but it was always there, watching, waiting. It brought her comfort in a way she could not explain. Ebony foraged for food, eating wild fruits and roots. The bear, too, seemed to find food, and she noticed it would leave certain fruits or fish near where she slept. It was as if it was caring for her. She started to believe the bear was not just an animal, but a spirit in disguise, a guardian sent by the ancestors to protect her. Days passed, and Ebony's strength grew, but so did the weight of her unborn child. She knew the time was near. Her body ached, and pain rippled through her belly like waves. The baby was coming. She crawled back into the cave, breathing heavily. She was alone, deep in the forest with no midwife, no family to hold her hand. Fear threatened to take over. But then she heard a deep, familiar sound outside, the slow, rhythmic breathing of the black bear. It was there. It had not abandoned her. Ebony focused on the presence of the bear, on its steady, unshaken energy. It reminded her that she was strong, that she could do this. The pains grew stronger, and she cried out, clutching the earth beneath her. The forest seemed to listen. The trees swayed gently. The wind whispered through the leaves, and the black bear remained still outside, as if standing guard. Hours passed, and with one final push, her baby was born. A tiny cry filled the cave, and Ebony's heart swelled with overwhelming love and relief. She held her child, a beautiful baby boy, against her chest, tears of gratitude streaming down her face. When she looked up, the black bear was gone. The next morning, Ebony wrapped her baby in soft leaves and stood on shaky legs. She knew she had to find her way back to the village. She followed the stream, hoping it would lead her home. Though weak, she walked with determination. After hours of wandering, she heard distant voices, human voices. Suddenly, the trees parted, and there stood her husband and the hunters, their faces filled with shock and joy. They ran to her, their relief washing over her like the sun breaking through the clouds. She told them of the black bear, of how it had watched over her, protected her, and given her strength when she needed it most. The elders listened carefully, nodding in understanding. They told her that the bear was no ordinary creature. It was a spirit of the wild, a guardian of lost souls. It had seen her strength and chosen to guide her rather than harm her. Ebony named her son Baraka, meaning blessing, for he was born under the protection of a mysterious force. Ebony's story became a legend in her village. It was told to children around the fire, passed down from generation to generation. The lesson was clear. Sometimes, what we fear is not meant to harm us but to guide us. Ebony had feared the forest, feared being alone, feared the black bear. Yet, in the end, the very thing she had feared had helped her survive. The villagers learned to respect nature even more, understanding that the wild held mysteries beyond human comprehension. Strength is not just about physical power, but about faith, endurance, and the courage to trust in what we do not understand. And so, the legend of the pregnant woman and the mysterious black bear lived on, a reminder that even in the darkest places, light can be found. Lost in the depths of the forest, a pregnant woman faced the impossible. But in her darkest moment, help came, not from humans, but from a mysterious black bear. What seemed like a threat became her guardian, proving that sometimes the things we fear the most are actually there to guide us. Her story became legend, a reminder that strength is not just in the body, but in faith, endurance, and the courage to trust the unknown. What do you think? Was the bear an ordinary animal, or was it a spirit sent to protect her? Let me know in the comments. And if you love mysterious folktales and powerful stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to Tales Story House for more incredible legends. Hit the like button, share this story, and turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure. Until next time, may your journey be guided, even in the darkest of places. What if you had a gift so powerful that it made people fear you? This is the story of Kwame, a boy born with an extraordinary ability. He could speak to animals. While some saw his gift as a blessing, others whispered that it was unnatural, even dangerous. But when a deadly stampede threatened to destroy his village, Kwame had one chance to prove that his power was not a curse, but a destiny. Will he be able to stop the chaos before it's too late? Or will fear and doubt silence his gift forever? Stay till the end to discover the fate of the boy who spoke to animals. And if you love mysterious folk tales like this, subscribe to Tales Story House for more incredible stories. Hit that subscribe button now and join us on this magical journey. Long ago, in a peaceful African village surrounded by lush forests and vast golden savannas, a child was born under a rare celestial event. The night sky was alive with 1,000 twinkling stars, and a great white owl circled above, letting out a cry that echoed through the land. The villagers whispered among themselves. This was a sign. The boy's mother, Amina, was a kind and gentle woman, beloved by all. His father, Jabari, was a skilled hunter who provided for the village. They named their son Kwame, meaning born on a Saturday. But soon, it became clear that he was no ordinary child. As a baby, Kwame never cried like other children. Instead, birds would gather outside his family's hut, chirping softly as if speaking to him. As he grew, strange things began to happen. He could calm restless cattle with a glance. Stray dogs followed him wherever he went, their tails wagging with devotion. And the most astonishing thing of all, when Kwame was 5 years old, he was found sitting in the middle of the village, laughing and playing with a great lion. The villagers were terrified, frozen in fear. But the lion did not harm him. Instead, it gently nuzzled Kwame before walking back into the wilderness. It was then that everyone knew this boy had been given a gift from the spirits. He could speak to animals. At first, the village elders saw Kwame's ability as a blessing. He helped sick animals recover by simply placing his hands on them. He warned fishermen when the rivers were unsafe. When drought threatened their crops, he followed the cries of thirsty birds to find hidden water sources. But not everyone trusted his gift. Some whispered that talking to animals was unnatural, that such powers belonged to spirits, not humans. Others feared what they did not understand. What if one day he turns against us, some muttered. What if he brings danger upon our village? Kwame, though still a child, could feel their fear. His once joyful days were now filled with wary glances and hushed voices. Even his closest friends began to keep their distance. One night, as he lay awake, he heard the soft voice of an old tortoise near his hut. "A gift is only a gift when used with wisdom," it said. "Be patient, young one. One day, they will see your true purpose." Seasons passed, and Kwame continued to live quietly, using his gift only when necessary. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, a terrible cry echoed through the village. The people rushed outside to find the horizon darkened by dust. A stampede of elephants was charging toward the village. Panic spread like wildfire. The villagers had no time to run, no time to protect their homes. The elephants, frightened by something unseen, were coming fast, their massive bodies shaking the earth with every step. Without hesitation, Kwame ran toward the stampede. The villagers screamed for him to stop, but he did not turn back. He closed his eyes and listened, not just to the pounding hooves, but to the deep, rumbling voices of the elephants. "We are afraid," they cried. "The hunters have come. We run to escape." Kwame opened his eyes, his heart pounding. He raised his hands and spoke, his voice clear and strong. "Stop. You are safe here. No harm will come to you in this village." The lead elephant, an old matriarch with wise, tired eyes, skidded to a halt just inches away from Kwame. The others followed, their mighty bodies trembling. The village stood in stunned silence. Moments later, hunters emerged from the trees. Men from a distant land, armed with spears and traps, chasing the elephants for their ivory. But when they saw the massive herd standing still, calm and unmoving, they hesitated. The lead elephant let out a mighty roar, and in that moment, the hunters knew they were outmatched. Defeated, they turned and disappeared into the forest. The elephants, safe at last, bowed their heads to Kwame before retreating back into the wilderness. The village erupted into cheers. The same people who once feared Kwame now gathered around him in awe. "He saved us," they cried. "His gift is a blessing." The elders, filled with newfound respect, declared that Kwame was a protector of all life, both human and animal. No longer was he seen as strange or unnatural. He was now a hero. From that day on, he became a bridge between the people and the creatures of the land. He taught his village that nature was not something to be feared or controlled, but to be respected and understood. Kwame's tale teaches us that true gifts should never be hidden out of fear. What makes us different is often what makes us special. Even when others doubt us, patience, wisdom, and courage will reveal the true purpose of our abilities. A gift is only a gift when used to help others. And sometimes, the thing that makes us unique is what the world needs the most. If you love mysterious folk tales like this, subscribe to Tales Story House for more incredible stories. Hit that subscribe button now and join us on this magical journey. What if you found a creature so rare, so extraordinary, that no one believed it could exist? Deep in the heart of Africa, a young girl made an impossible discovery: a white tiger cub, lost and alone in the jungle. Against all odds, she rescued it, raising it in secret, forming a bond stronger than words. But as the cub grew, so did the danger. The village feared it, the wild called for it, and in the end, she had to make an impossible choice. Would she risk everything to protect the creature she loved? Or would she set it free, knowing she might never see it again? Stay till the end to witness the incredible journey of Zola and Bika, a story of love, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between a girl and a tiger. Love powerful folk tales and unforgettable legends? Subscribe to Tales Story House for more. Hit the like button, share this story, and turn on notifications so you never miss an adventure. Deep in the heart of Africa, where the golden savanna met the dense green jungle, there was a village called Umoja. It was a peaceful place, surrounded by rolling hills, towering baobab trees, and winding rivers that sparkled under the warm sun. The people of Umoja lived in harmony with nature, believing that every animal, tree, and river held a spirit. Among the villagers was a young girl named Zola. She was different from the other children, curious, fearless, and deeply connected to the land. While other children played by the river or helped their families, Zola loved to wander into the wild, listening to the rustling leaves and the calls of distant animals. She felt as if the land spoke to her, whispering its ancient secrets. Her grandmother often warned her, "The jungle holds both beauty and danger. Respect it and it will protect you. But if you are careless, it may never let you go." Zola listened, but she also believed that if she moved with kindness and courage, the jungle would never harm her. One day, the winds of fate shifted, and Zola's life changed forever. It was the season of the long rains, when thunder rumbled in the sky, and the earth drank deeply from the heavens. The rivers swelled, and the animals moved in search of shelter. One afternoon, as Zola wandered near the edge of the jungle, she heard something strange, a soft, desperate cry. It was not the sound of the wind or the song of a bird. It was something else, something small, weak, afraid. Her heart pounded as she followed the sound, pushing past thick vines and wet leaves. The cries grew louder until, finally, she found a small, trembling creature beneath the roots of a fallen tree. It was a white tiger cub. Zola had never seen such a thing before. Tigers did not belong to Africa. They lived in faraway lands, across oceans and mountains. Yet, here it was, its fur soaked from the rain, its tiny body shivering with fear. The cub's eyes, a bright, icy blue, locked onto hers. It was alone, lost, and if she did not help it, it would not survive. Zola knew the jungle's rules. Never interfere with the wild. Never touch what belongs to nature. But how could she leave the cub behind? It was helpless, too young to hunt, too weak to fight. She carefully wrapped the cub in her shawl, holding it close to her chest. It let out a soft whimper but did not resist. It was as if it knew that Zola was its only hope. But taking the cub was not without danger. If its mother was nearby, she would never forgive an intruder. And if the village saw it, they might fear it, reject it, or worse, believe it was a curse. Zola whispered a silent prayer to the spirits of the land and ran toward home, the cub warm against her skin. For days, Zola kept the cub hidden in an old hut at the edge of the village, where no one went. She fed it goat's milk and mashed fruit, wrapping it in warm cloth at night. She spoke to it softly, calling it Bika, meaning gift from the spirits. As the days turned into weeks, Bika grew stronger. His fur became soft and thick, his legs sturdy and swift. He followed Zola wherever she went, his small paws leaving prints in the damp earth beside hers. They formed a bond unlike anything she had ever known. When she laughed, Bika purred. When she was sad, he nuzzled against her, as if he could feel her heart. But Zola knew that Bika was not meant to stay. He was wild, and one day, he would need to return to the jungle. As Bika grew, so did the risks. One evening, as Zola played with Bika near the hut, she did not notice the watchful eyes in the shadows. A young boy had seen them, seen the strange white beast that followed her like a shadow. By morning, the village was filled with whispers of fear and curiosity. A spirit has come to the village, some said. It is an omen, a sign from the ancestors, others murmured. It is dangerous. The gods will be angered, cried a few. The elders gathered to discuss what must be done. They feared what they did not understand. And a white tiger in the heart of Africa was something that no one could explain. Zola's heart ached. She knew they would never accept Bika. He was too different, too mysterious. She had only one choice left. Before dawn, Zola wrapped Bika in her shawl one last time. She knew that if she did not take him back to the jungle, the village would never allow him to live. She walked deep into the wilderness, following the same path that had led her to him. The jungle, once filled with mystery and fear, now felt like home. Bika, now strong and proud, walked beside her, no longer a helpless cub, but a creature of grace and power. When they reached the place where she had found him, Zola knelt beside him. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying the voices of the spirits. It was time. With tears in her eyes, she let him go. Bika hesitated, his blue eyes searching hers, as if asking if this was truly the end. Then, with a final look, he turned and vanished into the trees. Zola stood there for a long time, listening to the jungle song. She knew she had done the right thing. Love is not about keeping. It is about knowing when to let go. Years passed, and Zola grew into a woman. She became a protector of the land, a storyteller, and a guardian of the jungle. People spoke of her bond with the white tiger, a tale passed down through generations. Some said that on quiet nights, when the moon was full, a great white tiger could be seen watching over the village, its blue eyes glowing in the darkness. And when the wind blew just right, it carried a familiar sound, a soft, distant purr. The story of Zola and Bika teaches us that true love is not about possession, but about trust and understanding. We must respect nature and allow it to thrive where it belongs. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is knowing when to say goodbye. Courage, kindness, and sacrifice. These are the values that live on, just like the legend of the girl and the white tiger. Because some bonds, even when separated by distance, can never be broken. From a lost cub to an unbreakable bond, this is a story of love, sacrifice, and the courage to let go. Zola and Bika's journey teaches us that true love is not about holding on. It's about knowing when to set someone free. She could have kept the white tiger, but she understood that some things belong to the wild, just as some souls belong to the wind. But what do you think? Do you believe Bika still watches over Zola and her village? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love mysterious folk tales, emotional legends, and powerful storytelling, subscribe to Tales Story House for more. Don't forget to like, share, and turn on notifications so you never miss an incredible story. Until next time, remember, some bonds can never be broken, no matter how far apart we are. What if you stumbled upon a creature from legend, a winged horse, injured and unable to fly? Would you walk away, or would you risk everything to help it? Deep in the heart of West Africa, a lone traveler made an unbelievable discovery. A sky horse, a creature only spoken of in myths, wounded and fallen from the heavens. Instead of chasing fortune or fearing the unknown, he chose a different path, a path of kindness, trust, and destiny. But what happened next? Could the creature ever return to the skies? And what secret lesson did the traveler learn from the journey? Stay till the end to witness this breathtaking story of fate, freedom, and the true meaning of the journey. Love powerful folk tales and unforgettable legends? Subscribe to Tales Story House for more. Hit the like button, share this story, and turn on notifications so you never miss an incredible tale. In the heart of West Africa, where the golden savanna met vast rolling hills, there was a road rarely traveled. It was said to be cursed, a path where strange things happened, and travelers often lost their way. But for Kwame, a young man with a restless heart, the road was his only choice. Kwame had spent years wandering, moving from village to village, learning from elders, trading goods, and searching for something he could not name. Some said he was looking for his destiny. Others whispered that he was running from something. But Kwame himself did not know. One evening, as the sun dipped into the horizon, turning the sky into a canvas of fire and gold, Kwame followed the winding dirt path through the hills. The air smelled of wildflowers and damp earth, the distant sound of drumming from a nearby village floating on the wind. Then, something unusual happened. The wind shifted, carrying with it a sound not of drums, not of animals, but of pain. A soft, low cry carried through the silence. Kwame's steps slowed as he turned toward the sound. There, just beyond the tall baobab trees, in the clearing ahead, something shimmered in the fading light. A creature lay half hidden in the tall grass, its body trembling. A horse? No, not just a horse. This was something out of the old stories, the ones the griots told around the fire. A horse with massive, feathery wings lay sprawled on the earth, its silver mane tangled, its left wing bent at an unnatural angle. Its coat gleamed like moonlight, its large, dark eyes filled with pain and exhaustion. Kwame's breath caught in his chest. The Ngwagi, the sky horse, was something only spoken of in myths, a creature that flew between the worlds, serving the spirits of the land. Some said it was a guardian of the heavens, appearing only to those who were meant to see it. And now, one lay before him broken. Kwame knew many would walk away. Some would fear the beast, believing it to be a trick of the spirits. Others would seek to capture it, hoping for power or riches. But Kwame was different. Without hesitation, he knelt beside the winged horse, careful not to startle it. He could see that the left wing was torn, the feathers bent and bloodied. The creature had fallen from the sky, crashing down somewhere it did not belong. His grandmother's words echoed in his mind. What is placed in your path is placed there for a reason. So Kwame made a choice. He would help it. Kwame had learned the ways of the land from many villages. He knew which herbs healed wounds, which leaves soothed pain. For days, he stayed by the creature's side, building a small shelter in the clearing, away from those who might seek to harm it. He crushed baobab leaves into a healing paste, pressing it gently against the wounds. He fetched water from a nearby river, carrying it in a clay pot, offering it to the weak but watchful beast. At first, the sky horse barely moved, watching him with cautious eyes. But with time, it began to trust. It drank from his hands. It accepted the food he gathered, and slowly, its strength returned. Kwame spoke to it as if it understood, telling stories of his journey, of the places he had seen, of the things he still searched for. And though the creature could not speak, it listened. One night, as Kwame sat by the fire, the sky horse lifted its head, its wings shifting slightly. For the first time, it tried to stand. By the end of the second moon cycle, the sky horse was strong again, its wounds healed, its silver mane shining under the sun. But there was one thing left. It had not yet flown. Its massive wings stretched but remained grounded, as if it feared the sky that had once been its home. Kwame understood fear. He, too, had been afraid of the unknown, afraid that he was wandering without a purpose. He had spent his life searching for a sign, a meaning. And now, the creature of legend stood before him, needing him as much as he needed it. Kwame placed a hand on its soft, feathered neck and stepped back. With a deep breath, the sky horse reared onto its hind legs, its wings spreading wide. Dust rose around it, swirling in the air like a storm. Then, with one powerful movement, it launched itself upward. At first, it struggled. Its wings flapped unevenly, its body dipping. But then, the wind caught it, lifting it higher and higher. Kwame watched, his heart pounding as the creature rose above the treetops, its form blending with the clouds, bathed in the golden light of sunset. And then, in a moment so brief it almost felt like a dream, it circled back. The sky horse descended once more, landing gracefully in the clearing. It turned toward Kwame, its dark eyes filled with something unspoken, gratitude, a bond unbroken, a promise made. Then, without another moment of hesitation, it took to the skies once more, disappearing into the horizon. Kwame stood there long after the creature had gone, the wind rustling through the grass, the stars beginning to wake in the darkening sky. He had spent years searching for meaning, wandering from place to place, believing he was lost. But now he understood. Sometimes we are not lost at all. Sometimes the journey itself is the answer. The sky horse had come into his life not because he was meant to capture it, but because he was meant to free it. And in doing so, he had freed himself. With a quiet smile, Kwame turned back toward the road, his steps lighter, his heart full. He did not know where he would go next, but for the first time, he was not searching, because he had already found what he needed: a purpose, a path, a lesson written in the wind. True kindness asks for nothing in return. Helping others, even when there is no reward, leads to something greater: growth, wisdom, and self-discovery. Letting go is just as powerful as holding on. Some things are meant to be free, and when we release them, we release ourselves. Your journey is not meaningless. Even when you feel lost, every step leads you to where you are meant to be. Sometimes, the things we least expect are the ones that change us the most. And sometimes, the sky only opens when we learn to trust the wind. From a broken wing to a soaring flight, this is a story of kindness, trust, and the power of letting go. Kwame thought he was lost, wandering from place to place, searching for meaning. But in helping the winged horse find its way back to the sky, he discovered something even greater, his own purpose. Sometimes, the greatest journeys aren't about where we go, but about what we learn along the way. And sometimes, true kindness is not about holding on, but about setting something free. But what do you think? Was Kwame destined to find the Sky Horse, or did fate bring them together for a reason? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you love mysterious folktales, emotional legends, and powerful storytelling, subscribe to Tales Story House for more. Don't forget to like, share, and turn on notifications so you never miss an incredible story. Until next time, remember, the sky only opens when we learn to trust the wind.